Yo, what's up, y'all? You're now tuned into another episode of Real Deal Fishing. Today, I'm gonna give y'all some tips, just those of you who even thinking about fishing, want to become a fisherman, or been trying to fish but not sure where to begin. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hook you up and give you some tips on how to start it off and how to get yourself situated so you can get out here on the water and catch you some bass. Some of the things you're gonna need. You're gonna need you some line. Gonna need you some hooks. Okay. And you're gonna definitely need you some corks. And you're gonna need 2 fishing rods. Yes, 2 fishing rods. Alright. Alright, now I showed you just some of the things that you needed. Now let me go ahead and explain everything that we got over here. Okay, first thing you need is some line. This is Andy's line. I like this line, real good and decent. Thick line, nice, holds bass pretty good. 12-pound test. You can maybe go 15. I try to keep it 12 pounds so I can have a little fun while I'm catching fish. I got a 50 pack of these. These are size 2 Eagle Claw. Now these are saltwater hooks, but me personally, I like the saltwater hook because they're a little bit sharper than freshwater hooks. I noticed that when I fish with freshwater hooks, that I normally I lose more bass. So I switched over to this Eagle Claw size 2 saltwater hook, and it does me perfect. I lose less fish. I have better results with these, so I like these better than anything. Also, these are called a J hook. You also have what's called a circle hook. These are just regular J hooks. The circle hook, to me, I noticed that I lose more fish using the circle hook, so I like the J hook. Plus, I like to set the hook for the action. So, size 2 Eagle Claws. Also, another Eagle Claw. These are a size 12. Now, you don't necessarily have to get the Eagle Claw size 12. Any size 12 hook will do, but I like these right here. They're small. I use these to catch bait. I'll show you what this is for later on when we get to the spot. But you definitely gonna need your size 12, okay? And then you need the corks, all right? Corks will do you just good. Now, when you're done, your setup should look a little something like this. Let me show you what it should look like. Okay. Now, when you're done, your setup will look a little something like this. You'll have your line, your cork, and then you'll have your nice size hook down here at the bottom. Okay. And notice here I already have my line changed, but I'm going to walk you through the steps and process on how to change your line and everything, get yourself ready so you can get on the water. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and get started. Notice we got 2 fishing rods here. Let's start with the fishing rods. This is a nice little brand called Proficiency I got from Walmart. If you're a beginner fisherman, you really don't have to go expensive at all. Me personally, I don't go expensive at all anyway. I'm a little rough on my fishing gear. I fish from land, so a lot of the stuff that I use is inexpensive. I may have paid $24, $25 for this fishing rod that I got from Walmart. Okay, not expensive at all. Try to keep it simple. So the first thing we do is we're going to take the line off of this bad boy. Now, sometimes they come with a little plastic covering on it. Sometimes they don't. This one has a little plastic covering on it, so I'm gonna have to actually cut it off, okay? And once we cut it off, then we go ahead and we'll take the line off. Now, as you see this right here, it's spinning. This is your drag button. You don't want this too tight, okay? If it's too tight, it won't spin. And if it don't spin, that's not good when you're catching big bass, especially big fish and big bass, because if they, fish like to make runs, and if they run and this is extremely tight, they're gonna pop your line every time. So you want to give it a little drag so it can spin when they make runs. It's not too loose, but not too tight either. Okay, so we're gonna open it up a little bit so that it can spin easily as we take the line off. It makes it easier to take the line off. So now we just find the line, and normally it's right up in here, and we just pull it out. Sometimes you might have to use your mouth to get it from up underneath this crack, like I'm gonna do now. Okay, and we got that out of there. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take all of this line off of here, And I'm pretty sure you're asking me, why am I taking the line off? Honestly, the reason I'm gonna take the line off is because normally when you get a rod from anywhere, a fishing rod, the line is extremely thin. And this is not good when you're out on the water catching bass and everything, because if you catch anything that got any kind of size or any kind of fight to it, it's gonna pop this immediately. So the first thing we do is we take this line off here, we take it all the way off the spool until it's empty, and then we're gonna rig it back up with some new and better line, all right? So we just take this off, and that's why I have this pretty much untightened, so we can just pull it off. And you just keep pulling this off, and you just put it down here and just pull it all the way off the spool, all right? And once it's off the spool, you just rig all the way up with a new line, and I'm gonna show you how to deal with that in a minute, okay? So we just pull this all the way off until it's all the way complete. And then once it's all the way off, I'll show you exactly how we're gonna set this up. Okay, so now we're done taking all the line off. Okay, so now that I'm done taking all the line off, here's what it looks like with no line on it. And what you want to do is you want to take your Andes line or whatever line you choose to get, doesn't really matter. Me personally, I would recommend about maybe 15-pound test if you're a beginner. If you're going to be catching bass, and you're going to run it through this hole right here. And then you're going to come down here. Now, here's the most important part to putting line on. You have to flip this bail first and then tie it onto here, okay? Now, if you don't tie it, you won't be able to wind the line in. It'll just be tied. So it's important that you actually open this here and then tie your line off. Now I just do a regular little knot when I'm doing this right here. You know, nothing fancy. But I'll definitely show you some other knots that I use when I'm tying my hooks in a second. But just for this, we're just using a regular knot. Nothing crazy at all. All right. Now, if you notice here, I got a nice little piece of string that's hanging out. I'm gonna cut that off with a knife. Now, if you got some pliers or something that you can actually clip it with some pliers, you can do that too. But I'm gonna cut it off and make it as short as I can. Okay, now we got that short as possible. And once we got that tied on the correct way, you're gonna close it back. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your line about right here. Now, don't hold it too tight, but you definitely wanna hold it so that it goes on pat. Okay? So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some light on. Let me make this knot in here a little tighter, so we can actually get this to do what it's supposed to do. Okay. Now, you're gonna tighten this up when you're putting your line on, because you want your line to go on as tight as possible. Put your hand right here and you just reel it in. Now your Andes, your line is just gonna roll all over the place, and that's fine. But just make sure you keep your hand here. Don't squeeze it too tight, because if you squeeze it too tight and you're winding it in, this will burn your hand. So you want to squeeze it tight, but not too tight. Just tight enough so that you can put the line on and let it do what it's supposed to do. Okay? So and then you just keep winding and you keep winding until it's done. Alright? Alright guys, now that we got the line on here, now we're going to rig it up. And the first thing you need to do is take the line and you need to run it underneath this little silver bar here, which is called the bell. You run it under there, so your line should be under there like this, okay? Make sure you don't have any drag on for now. So it should go underneath here. Once it goes underneath here, then you can flip the bell, okay? Once you flip the bell, you're gonna take your line and then you're gonna run it through the holes and go all the way up, okay? Go through each hole. Make sure you go through each hole. And after you get all that set, take your size 2 Eagle Claw and put it on here. And this is the knot that I use. It's a very simple knot. This knot is sufficient. It holds very good when I'm catching fish. I haven't had a problem with it, and this is what I use. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you're gonna run it through the hole of the hook. I'm gonna take it Have about that much. What you want to do is you want to wrap it around maybe 4 times. 2, 3, 4. And what you're going to see is you should see a hole back at the top up here. You're going to run the end of that line back through there like that. And then you're going to pull it until it gets tight. As it gets tighter, you can hold the hook about right here and just pull. And as you pull, it'll get tighter. Now this is the knot that I use, okay? And any of this extra line, we can just cut that off and make it a little shorter. Okay? And you can flip this back. Put your hook right here. Hold it right here and then wind it until it gets tighter. Sometimes it'll hold to that eye, and if not, then take it, put it right in the hole, and then you're done. Now, this is where your cork comes into play. Now, normally, being that I have this on the fishing rod, you know, I just unleash this and then I'll put my cork here. Now, here's how the cork works. When you push the top, the bottom comes out. When you hold the bottom and push the top comes up. So start with the top first. Put your finger underneath and push right there. It'll pop up. And what you're gonna do is, you're gonna take that and clip the top here through your line. Put your line right up in that little metal hook there. Then you hold the top and push it, and the bottom hook comes out, and then you put the cork there. Now your cork stays on. Okay, and when you're done, now you have your setup, and this is what it looks like once you set up your fishing rod. You got your cork, and then your hook. Now here's where the other fishing rod comes into play. Now this, I'm gonna take this hook off. I just wanted to show you that at the beginning of the video as a model. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna run this through here. And I'm gonna take, and now I'm gonna take my size 12 hook, and I'm gonna do the same knot that I just used on the bigger hook for the smaller hook. Now the smaller hook is gonna be used to catch bait. Now normally when I go fishing, bass like to eat other bass, so I normally try to catch fish that are right there and put them right out. So I'll use that same knot, put it right through that hole, and wrap it around about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and bring the excess line back through that hole up there. Pull on it. Now be careful with these small hooks because they're quite easy to stick you, and you do not want to go to the hospital if that barb goes through. So be careful. So now I have both of my setups to catch some bass. I have the one with the small hook right here, and then I have the one with the cork and the bigger hook. So now I'm gonna head to the spot, and I'm gonna show you guys how we can put this to use. All right, guys, we're about to start fishing. First thing you want to do when you start fishing is come check your drag right here. This knob right here on the top is drag. See how easy that is for me to pull? That's too loose. Now we don't want it too tight like this. We don't want it too tight to where we can't pull it, but we don't want it too loose either. We want it just right, so if we hook a fish and he makes a run, he can pull line out without popping my string. So do it about right here. That's perfect. So when I set my hook, he's gonna make a nice little run. But when he makes a run, he can actually pull some string without popping the line, and I can work with him and fight him the way I need to fight him so I don't lose the fish. Okay? So first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this fishing rod, I'm gonna take this small hook, and I'm gonna put a piece of bread on it. Now, first thing you want to do when you get here is catch a small fish first. The last thing you want to do is get the bait fish all riled up, and then a bass comes up and you're not ready for him. All right? So the first thing you do is catch you a small fish. Now, Take your small piece of bread, just a small piece. Very, very tiny. And you put it on this little hook right here. And then you just take it and you catch your small fish, all right? Just that fast. Oh. Damn it. Well, he got back in the water, so that sucks. So we'll go back and we'll catch another one. Now I can't use this one because he's a little too big. So when they get big like that, if I catch one that's too big, I'll just throw him back in the water. Let's see if I can catch one. All right, finally, after about 10 minutes, I finally caught me a small fish. And now what I'm doing is I'm gonna take him off of this small hook and I'm going to actually put him on the bigger hook. Now, here's how you hook him. Take him and just run it right through the bottom of the lip and run it through the top of the lip. And then you just take him and throw him right out. Now, this is not enough space, enough line between your cork and your hook. Normally I try to give it about maybe close to about 2.5, 3 feet of length between the two so that he looks like he's just swimming freely. So what I'll do is I'll take my cork and push down on the top and just bring it up a little bit more like this right here, and then put it back underneath there. So now I got enough space, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna throw him out further. You can overhand it or underhand. I'm gonna do an overhand. And that's how you do it. And then we just go out here and we wait until we get our bite. Now sometimes while I'm waiting to catch fish, what I'll do is I'll take some of the other bread, just depends, and I'll throw it in the water to kind of get the fish riled up. Sometimes that'll attract bass, and that's why I say it's important to catch your fish first, because if you get the water riled up and then a bass comes up, the fish are not gonna want to eat. You'll already have one ready to go. So that's why I say get your fish first and then go ahead and be ready. Hopefully we can catch one before we run out of daylight. Okay, so after baiting up the water, I finally got a peacock bass to pull up. So I'm gonna see if I can get him on the line real quick. So again, we got the cork, and then we got the fish right here. And once the bass come up, you're already ready to go. Fish is on, people. Got him. Got a nice little peacock bass. Now you see why it's important to already have your fish ready, because once they pull up, they will scare everything else off. So once you're already ready, it doesn't take long. All right. As a quick and easy way how to get you a real bass real fast, man. As you can see, be ready. Small fish always get the job done. I hope you guys enjoyed the information that was given to you today. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in to Real Deal Fishing. I'm your host, Big R. Y'all be safe out there.